Preparing to live.
Yeah, everybody's got their mic.
It's May 7th, 2024. Codington County Commission meeting.
That's a nice touch, Troy.
Just time stamping my own recorder. Thanks.
Works nice on the YouTube as well, though.
Oh, you were serious.
Well, it's kind of a little
You
bit.
do it every week.
It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock and I'd like to call the meeting of the Codington County Commissioners to order. If you'd all please rise, I'll have Commissioner Waterman lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Waterman. Item 2, if there's a need for public comment, it can be submitted in person or via telephone with the number 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297. And we have a section at the end of the meeting to do that for public comment. It's now item 3. Is there any conflict of interest?
No.
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 Item 4, we need a motion to approve the agenda for May
So
7th.
moved.
Motion by Waterman.
Second.
Van Duzen.
Oh, sorry.
Motion by Van Duzen.
Yeah, motion by Van Duzen, second by Johnson. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5, we need a motion to approve the minutes from the April 23rd meeting. Motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Gable. Is there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item 6, we need action on to approve a plat. If Luke would come up and go through that.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Oh.
Good morning, Luke. I have, as you noted, I've got a plat, Mountain Bear Edition in the southeast quarter, section 28.
Yep.
It's in Germantown Township. It's, would be 2 south and a half, about a mile west of the South Shore exit on I-29 is where we're looking here. And what they're doing is just a farm, it's a site that was given a farmstead exemption. What they're doing though is they had created a 5-acre lot around the existing house. And this action changes that, it flats an area so that they can build a new house. And the other site would not have building rights until they erase the line, the old plot, which again is still owned by the farm. It's sort of thing that we have all the time. We did the farmstead exemption and they can switch which one has the 5-acre lot. Planning Commission recommended approval, but we're going back all the way into July, I think, or August. So that was issued. They want to implement it. So this is the last step. Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Johnson, second by Waterman to approve this plat resolution 2024-10. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks,
Yep,
Luke.
Thank you, Luke. Okay, item 7. Monthly reports. I see.
Jody's not here. I did she sent a written report. I have that there for you. Able to attend today.
One of the reasons that Jody's not here, she just had some surgery done on her knees and I didn't visit with her, but I visited with the staff out there. And I don't know if she's back to work yet or not yet, but I'm probably sometime this week she'll be back back at her station. So she sent us a report. They're busy.
Yes. Oh, should have I can just go through that a little bit quick to let people have an update. They had their shooting sports out in Pier, April 26th through the 28th. Looks like they're doing a lot of the food fund 4-H program wraps up with the month with Mexico. So they're just learning how to cook all these different foods from different countries. See, Jody was going to plan to be a junior achievement volunteer at McKinley, 3rd grade in May. 4-H dog project meeting is on May 9th at the extension complex. And the horse livestock literacy on May 13th at Joy Ranch. Bike safety is held at the Watertown Elementary Schools in May, immediately after school until 4 p.m. May 14th, McKinley, May 15th, Millette, May 16th, Lincoln, May 20th, Jefferson, and May 21st, Roosevelt. Special foods and fashion review workshops will be Thursday, May 30th. Next Teen Dash will be on May 31st at the Codington County Extension Complex. Farm Safety Day will be June 18th. And registration's available at the Extension office. And registration is open for Kid Care Babysitting Clinic on June 25th. So you can contact the office for that also. So it's been busy for the extension part. Okay, let's go on to the Veterans Office.
Morning, Todd.
We've got
All right,
Morning. There, green light, green gumball. Okay. So had a nice little rain last night, so everything should be nice and green, bright and shiny today. 195 open claims, 91 pending action at the VA, 74 completed year to date. Last month, $33,984 was the monthly increase for compensation for veterans or their dependents. Year to date, monthly increase is $51,742. Retro payment again, that's to catch the claim up to the current date from when we submitted the claim. $155,000 and some change for the month of April. Year to date, 356,000 and some change there also. 3 veterans transported to Sioux Falls in April and 1 currently scheduled in May. With that, transportation, I got a couple of comments on that. We did start using what they call is the Veterans Transportation System. It's eligible to veterans that are 30% service connected or higher. They can actually call right to VTS if they want to schedule that. We've used it a couple times just to this is fairly new. Supposedly the VA is also supposed to get a VTS coordinator out here at the clinic. They've talked about this for probably the last 9 months off and on. Again, I think they had the job announcement out 2 weeks ago. I don't know if they've selected anybody yet, but that person is supposed to help coordinate and then I think be able to go out and help veterans in the local area. If they're living in Bradley or Henry or someplace like that, be able to run a shuttle out to go pick them up and bring them back in an appointment here at the local clinic, or if they have capability, we've used it to pick up a couple of veterans and take them down to Sioux Falls just to try it out. Some of our veterans that we've been given rides to. So it seemed to work pretty good. We've done 3 trips with it. So again, but you have to be 30% service connected. So from our standpoint, where our DAV van is, we take anybody, as long as we can with our drivers. So there's no limit on that as far as being service connected. So again, I've talked about that. I talked with Jay this morning. We really need to get a good or guidelines of when we talk to different veterans, because every veteran situation is just a little bit different as far as
can you get mileage? Can you not get mileage and this and that? And how do I get my transportation if this one's getting transportation? It's confusing enough for us that deal with it on a day-to-day basis. I can't imagine, from our veteran standpoint to think that I'm a veteran. Can I get a ride? No, you can't. Yes, you can. It's just confusing from that standpoint. So with that last little caveat, always looking for volunteer drivers. If anybody's out there listening. No packets were selected from Codington County for the South Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs Bridge Naming Program. We'd had 3 in the last 4 years. We did not have anybody selected. We did send in 2 packets, or help the family send in 2 packets here. I think talking with the state headquarters, they kind of looked at it to where there's 61 counties and tribal areas in the state. Not all of them even have one yet, and some counties have 3, or some counties have, I know down south, down by Yankton, a couple of those counties have a couple too. So I think they're kind of looking, hey, let's make sure that we try to maybe spread the wealth or spread that recognition. They all deserve it, bottom line, but it just takes time. At the mini conference that we had 2 weeks ago in Sioux Falls, I thought the VA was a little ways behind, but I was told that the VA is currently 1 million claims behind in processing claims. So that like doubled what I thought it was at. That was new information that was just put out. Again, we just try to stress that to our veterans, you still file the claim. It just might take a little bit longer. And we just have to pay attention when we're filing to make sure that the VA does their due diligence in reviewing the claim properly from that standpoint. I also talked about the toxic exposure enrollment into VA healthcare and thinking that it had changed back on the 5th of March, opening it up. Well, there's been some more or updated guidance that's been put out on it. So like talking with the National Guard and the reserves, they're basically coming back, and again, Jay and I talked about that this morning, of getting the actual documentation, the regulation, because they're saying basically that they still have to be service connected to that disability or condition before they're going to be eligible to enroll in VA healthcare. Not quite the same as that, oh, you've been exposed, now you have a condition, now you're service connected, now you can go to VA healthcare. Not where you've been exposed, oh, yep, we recognize that, now you can start going to VA healthcare. That's kind of a glitch, and it's a big glitch. And the way you read it, it doesn't read that way to either Jay or myself, but that's what we were told at that mini conference. Future events going up, finalize the memorandum of understanding or operational agreement with Hamlin County to provide veteran services. I have sent the initial thing to the state's attorney, and she has responded back to me with a couple of questions. I'm trying to clarify them, get back to her. Then I'm gonna share a copy with the Hamlin County so that they're aware of it, that they have time to look at it. I will probably put this back on the docket to have you review next week and see if we can move forward from that standpoint, if that'll work.
Yep.
Okay. American Legion will be handling the Memorial Day ceremony here in Watertown. Finalize next year's budget, and then I have a meeting with the commanders tonight, and then we'll be on the radio Thursday. Any questions of me?
You might, as far as the Hamlin County deal, they have responded that they are looking forward to partnering with us. Yeah, just so that the other board members do. So looking forward to getting that thing through.
Yep.
Done with. Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
You bet. Have a good day.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, number 8, action to approve an application for West Nile virus protection grant funds. Steve, if you'll start on several of these things.
Okay, all right, start out with the West Nile grant. Received it last year that they opened it up for the West Nile grant applications through the state Department of Health. I was previously, all the time before, I've, applied for this, grant and stuff like that, and I don't have it on there, Lee, that, for approval for about $5,000. I think I'm gonna up that up, try to go to 6,000 this year, and we'll see what comes back from the Department of Health. You apply for it, and then they appropriate the money throughout all the counties and municipalities, and so yeah, that's how this is conducted. It's an online deal that they actually, application form that they do now, instead of sending you out one to fill out, so.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Van Duzen, to send this application in. Is there any more discussion? Seeing, oh, go ahead.
I say, just do what you've been doing because we've been successful for several.
We've been
years.
successful
Yeah.
for several years, yes, and so that, and and it helps cover the cost of some of the chemicals and labor and so that. I'm looking at probably, they have a trap that actually will count certain mosquitoes, and I'm looking at probably purchasing one of them just to kind of see how they work and so that, so this will help
Oh, okay.
subsidize that cost of that, so.
We may see more mosquitoes this summer.
I have a feeling, unfortunately, with all this moisture and so that, we've been dry for the last couple springs somewhat. We had snow last year, but it all dissipated pretty fast. With all this precipitation we have, I have a feeling we're gonna have probably our nuisance ones that are probably gonna show up, earlier than normal, so.
Any more questions for Steve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carries. Okay, item 9, action to approve carpet for treasurer's office as budgeted.
Lee probably doesn't have the one and so that, but what I have is a proposal for carpet. I did budget for the whole upstairs on this floor and so that. As you can see in one of the proposals, it breaks it down to each one of them. There was a second one. I did get another quote also from Floors and More and so that, which just covers the treasurer's office. I did get another one, but I didn't attach it for the remaining portion. And of course, with it at $5,560 from Dwayne's floor covering was lower than the Floors and More. It kind of almost gets me speculating, okay, what's the big difference? The first time I did go reach out to him, he gave me a range and I said, I gotta be more specific, so.
Is this a project you think needs to be done this year? Or-
Well, I think it could hold off. We can do everything then, would be my thought too. The carpet, in sections of, we did last year upstairs in the courtrooms and they were in tough shape, really tough shape. I do have the floors down below a little bit tougher shape than actually this floor. So yeah, but I could push this off and budget it for next year and stuff like that instead, but
All total, we're looking at $16,860.
that would be everything,
Yeah.
but all I'm really right now would if or do request would be is just a treasurer,
Just the
but
office.
yeah, but I'll let you guys control. This is what I budgeted for. This is what it is. If you guys want to accept, go on. I mean, I can rebudget it. I mean,
what-
I got a lot of big projects going on right now and try to conserve on those major projects. That is more of a necessity. It's fine by me too.
I would make a motion that we postpone it or postpone it till that, put it on next year's budget.
Okay.
Do them all then.
I don't,
Get them all done.
yeah, you don't really need to make a motion on that, just,
We need a
Just-
We
motion.
just won't act
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Okay, item 10 is action to approve brush cutter for Memorial Park as budgeted.
Yeah, this item and so bad I budgeted for last year and so bad a brush cutter that we have out there went bad. They turned around and looked in for getting parts. There are parts not available anymore. It has to be, I would say that machine out there that was probably at least 10 years or plus older that we had out there. So I did budget it for a new brush cutter out there. We have several times that we use the brush cutter, like down in the areas where all the cattails get up or everything gets a little bit tall, and then along the post area where, along the ditches and so that, this is where we use this outfit.
Chair, I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve this purchase, $3,299.99 for the brush cutter.
Second.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable to purchase this brush cutter. Is there any more discussion? I just have a question. Who are we getting that through?
This will be through Watertown Lawn and Garden. He actually
there it
has,
is. Oh.
yep, he actually has a carryover as a way that he cut me a deal on this thing. So we had to,
It's
so
new.
we can move it.
just a
It's new,
carryover.
it's just a carryover. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 11, action to authorize advertising for bidding for the Codington County Extension Building parking lot.
Okay, this here item I've been working on for a while. And so that if Lee, if you have a chance, it's not on there, but it's in your email. Of the drawing.
You want the drawing?
Yeah, I sent
Okay.
you, sent
Yeah,
you. an
I got them both. Do you see
Yep,
the one on the
yep.
slide there? Was that what you want, or do you want the other one?
Yep, yep. Yeah, pull that up first.
Okay. You can start talking.
Okay, one of the things out there, and so we had the conditions out there is getting bad. The sidewalk where the drain is at, there's a 3-inch lift there. The parking lot is crumbling. As you can see, those dark little, move back and lost it, Lee.
Lee, can you pull up that photo again?
The first one, if you can. Sorry, I didn't get this sent to you earlier that we couldn't get it on.
Yeah.
I know, gets a little more complicated this way.
Yeah, is that,
This is the layout right now, what's proposed, and so we had, Myron and Charlie kind of sat on the discussions with, and myself, and actually one of the staff members off and on out at the extension complex. This is the layout, what would be what Banner had designed and so that. And of course, there's some things that had to be approved by the city and so that. For one, on the right-hand side, there's a sidewalk. The sidewalk would have to continue all the way up to the corner. And then they would put curb along all the way around it. The sidewalk that's up by the office area will be a 6-foot sidewalk. Plus, that's in blue. That's an additional sidewalk that would be put along the extension building side, on both sides, leaving it so there's some room in between for pedestrians to walk there. We've have issues in the barn where water has ran in, so that's what their proposal was, is putting a sidewalk along there. Because putting asphalt along there is hard to get that keep it level and keep it nice and firm, whereas they put a sidewalk, they can keep that and reduce that of water going in. What you see in the parking area, they'll see those purple lines. Those are drainage tiles or drainage tubes. One comes in from, there's a little area where the grass is at. It collects water there. So they're gonna put a drain tile in there that will drain over to a big sump drain in the middle of the parking lot. All the water will drain from the north side of the barn and around the parking lot to the center of the parking lot, and then it will drain tile out to the city drain tile. Then from the west of the barn actually drains itself to the west there's a curb along there, and that will drain itself. There is only an 1.5 inch slope in that area. It's pretty flat. So this will drain there, and then it will drain to the south, and then there's a pink line of a culvert. There was a culvert there that's actually crushing. They're gonna put a concrete culvert in because there's not enough overlayment above that existing one right now, and which is crushing crushing that drain tile and so that, so with that all, and so that it'll be quite an upgrade. It will create so that no ponding, right now ponding occurs along in that parking lot majorly. And so that, with that, there'll be a separate sheet, and so that what they come back with, on the engineering or on the cost of the construction, there's two alternatives. One was be a cement mix that would be put in the gravel, which is a lower cost, but they also put in there for putting a fabric in on the underneath the base and stuff like that, because with the cement, it depends on that time frame. It has to be dry in order for them to mix it, and if it's a wet time frame, it could cost more because of the cost of waiting and so that on this project. So that I have a sheet and so that of all my budget stuff and on there, and so that I actually included it cost there is a little bit more. It brings it the cost with the cement would be estimated of $623,815.35. With the cost of the alternative of the fabric, $627,601.09. But I have my budget sheet here, and I kind of did some calculating what I have for budgets. I did budget this thing for $883,000 for this project. Down below in there, I have west parking lot construction of the 5-inch asphalt with the fabric. This includes my engineering cost at $702,601.09. And then below that is the 4-inch asphalt with the cement treatment at $698,815.35. I did calculations of how much I budgeted for projects out there, and I have another agenda item, of course, on there, but which would be almost close to, $20-some thousand or $200 and some thousand underneath my budget on the total item, what I budgeted for this year.
Whether we go with if this is approved, whether we would go with the soil concrete or the fiber mat underneath would depend an awful lot on the weather.
That depends on the weather. That's why it's in there. And actually into the advertisement is the alternatives. So there'll be alternatives just to alleviate that possibility of this project.
And the reason we're doing this at all is because the whole parking lot is just about a flat area. It's very difficult to get it drained out.
And then one of the other things, of course, about by the building, so where the entrance at, it heaves up so bad. We put fill in between the sidewalk and the asphalt out there, because it gets to be almost a foot dip. That's how much it raises. So it's a hazard for this situation.
Steve, we also discussed time frame because that's a busy place out there. And especially during the summer, because you got softball games going on all the time, and this wouldn't get out into the south parking lot, but there's still be a lot of traffic.
Right.
And so share with them the timeframes that we're looking at.
Okay, the timeframes are gonna have it set that they can start construction in July if they prefer, right after the 4th of July. Then it would run, the construction would shut down for achievement days, for the week of achievement days, and then resume again. They estimate about a project to be about a 12-week project. They could start, of course, after achievement days. It just depends on how the construction goes, but the time frame is to be completed by the middle of October on this project. So you could run into more weather patterns, of course, when you start getting into that late fall than you do in the middle of July. So, yeah, it's gonna be if this does get approved, it will probably be a little headache for a while out there, but I think the improvements will be greatly. This has been a ongoing thing, actually, probably since I've been, actually working for the county, so.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve authorization to advertise for bidding.
A motion by Johnson,
I'll second that.
second by Waterman to authorize so we can do some bidding for this project. Is there any more
Is
discussion?
just a question for Steve, Mr. Chairman. So is that what you need us to do, is approve to add for bids as opposed
Yes.
to? Okay, that's all you need right now. You
Yep.
don't need us to pick a
Yep.
particular price.
Yep.
Okay, all right,
Yep, no sticker price, just advertise right now.
all right, all right.
Mr. Chair, just a quick question. Steve, I know that we're just authorizing advertising
Yep.
for bids, but how close do you think that this is gonna come in? I mean, in talking with
We
the
don't know.
contract.
We don't really know.
I know
One of
that, but
the,
I-
one of the things that they're speculating is because of the time frame on when this is done. A lot of construction guys have already started, they said, so this could get them into a deal and they could probably cut a deal trying to get some more
That's what I
work.
was wondering.
So
Okay,
we'll come back to see what they have for the.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the county highway department more than likely is gonna be involved in this and removing part of this.
They're gonna be,
15
they're,
inches of fill in there.
yep, they're gonna be,
And, the stuff that can't be reused, we're gonna reuse out on another project.
mhm.
Any more questions for Steve? Okay, all those in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 12. Discussion, possible action to authorize chair to sign an agreement with Johnson Controls for Codington County Extension Complex Fire Suppression System.
Yeah, I've been working on this project probably for about a year now and so that, in the extension complex and so that, there is no, fire suppression system completely at all. It's kind of something I would imagine with the constructions going on, it wasn't really required at the present time. This kind of, a lot of this stuff is generated, through, since COVID for having the, extension complex as a COVID hospital or a hospital of sort. And of course, the Corps of engineers that came in and said there's items that need to be addressed in order for it to be a supplementary hospital. But in the course of stuff, I also turned around and down below and the thing, I actually had a generator in that. And then of course, kind of in the shaded in the colors and so that I had generator and sprinkler system. Of course, when it came back, and so that as, for what they come for estimates, and so I can't do both. And what happened, of course, I have up there a sprinkler system at 260,000. Well, I had gotten estimates before, but when they started going through a lot of process, there's areas that require a dry cell area, and which raised the cost a lot higher. Because the reason for the dry cell areas is because there's ceilings out there that is cold environment. So they have to have it as a dry cell area, so it don't freeze. So that raised the cost quite a bit more on that. So when I calculated everything and that's why I have all the sheets put together and so that for it, I took the signage away for that to help contribute for some of it, combine the generator and the sprinkler system and so that, and which gets to be actually exceeds the amount that the cost actually is under what I've actually budgeted for and the total of my budget for the year. And so that,
So again, Steve, so for this particular item, what did you budget?
Actually, what I budgeted for this, particularly for it, I budget 260,000. But of course, I took the generator out that I budgeted for 200,000, so I combined those together at 460. And I'll eliminate what I had for electronic postage or signage at 80,000, which would come to be, 540,000. What I would have in what I budgeted for those items to go towards just for the sprinkler system.
So it seems to me though that it's, I mean, even aside from just looking at the priorities of the different projects, it seems to me that aside from, whether or not you have some kind of a mass medical event, we still have a lot of events there with a lot of people. And
Right, that is
so-
correct. And
So
it is something, how should I put it? It is something that is needed. But how high of a priority at the present time is how I'm gonna put it. But it is a well-needed thing, because there are several events, and if we do have a case of having something happen out there, at least we have some sort of prevention.
Well, it seems like with the closing of one of the venues for public gatherings in town here, we're gonna be on the upswing more and more in the future. We're also looking at, I don't know if you looked into it, what the savings would be for insurance purposes.
I have not for sure, and so Brenda can comment.
But I'm sure there would be a savings. Lee and I had a discussion a little bit on the possibility of if we didn't do it right now, would there be something in the future from the federal government if there's another, God forbid, COVID thing that comes along? But at that point, it might be too late to do anything.
I make a motion that we approve this.
Okay, motion by Gable.
Second.
Second by Waterman. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Okay, item 13. Discussion possible action to authorize chair to sign agreement with Johnson Controls for Codington County Courthouse to purchase and install infrastructure for a generator.
All right, this here, situation, especially developed so that with our HVAC system, with the new chiller out here, the chiller actually is all supplied, will be supplied for both right now, the present detention center and the courthouse. With that, and so if so happen we have a power outage, and so for an example, Brookings had with the derecho, they were out of power, a lot of stuff for almost a week down in Brookings. That would create, then we have a building right now that functions 24/7. There will be no cooling going on of anything. This would help supply the chiller. It would be connected because it's connected to the courthouse. This would supply that function for the chiller, especially for cooling, for the detention center side mostly. Granted, it'll be a benefit for here too, because if we are out of power, if we can still function, we'll be able to function the courthouse if something would occur of that manner. One of the things, and so they did give me a quote for whole completion, and in the discussion, I talked with them, and so I said, well, technically, we really can't pay everything out in this year's budget if it's not done in this year's time frame. So we end up turning around and just got something done for just laying out the infrastructure of the layout, because right now with the ground open up for the chiller, they can lay the piping in and everything for the electrical grid, and then order the generator. Generator currently right now is 42 to 60 weeks out. So this is why this was brought across to probably get this going at the present time.
Steve, can you tell us a little about how this relates to your budget for this item?
Well, okay, now for the budget type, the thing is, of course, on my sheet I have, and so we had budgeted for the AC of the generator project, and so we had, let's see how this all, remember how this all goes here. with the engineering, so we had, boiler repairs, building improvements and equipment. I had budgeted a total of $762.50. Now, some of these items, and so that would be, go towards, or what I budgeted for. The expenses remaining on the HVAC system is $2,039,528 plus, 47,000, I didn't type in what, I forgot what that was. Which would come, $47,000, which would come to be a total of $2,086,000. Okay, so budgeted, was $2,762,500, or $762,500. Expenses of $2,086. Take that away. Remaining portion of the budget would be $686,500. What would be remaining? That then would cover the cost of the generator and equipment at $664,600.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
I'll second it.
second by Johnson.
Now, this motion is not to buy the generator, it's just to do.
Well, this would be the purchase of generator.
This would be-
There's a purchase of the generator and do the infrastructure, basically laying everything out to where the generator would be placed.
Even though it's going to be that far out,
Even though it's that far out, yes.
that won't be.
So that's,
Next year, I'd have to budget for the final completion of this project.
So can I get a dollar amount total on the motion again, please?
I think it's 378,670, correct, Steve?
Yes.
378.
Well, the agreement and so that is 451,000, because there's agreement also on here. With the project, with their engineering costs and everything. $451 or $451,870.
Okay.
Say that amount again, please. 800,
$451,870, Lee.
Yep.
okay, got it. Right. Yeah, I was looking at the scope of work on the Johnson Controls document.
Yeah, that's where I was confused.
Yeah, and that's,
Okay.
and the reason for it is because they don't really have that 73,000. I added that in there because that's actually got to come out of the budget too, so.
Now, this
Okay, well-
generator sit outside.
Yes, this will be outside, yes. And right now it's planned to be on the east side of the courthouse. It'll be where our shed is at right now. That will be taken away and replaced. It is the closest to the, actually to the, what do you want to say, the transformer that's connected. So,
And it can be color coordinated to the building.
yeah, most lately, and so we had what I think what they've been getting what they've been getting deals on, and so we had is on Generac generators. Yep. And so that, because currently right now, when I think Charlie and I was in discussion with them, that one gentleman was up in Wisconsin, is the way at the present time, and they were both Generacs, what he sent pictures back as.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
It's a lot of dollars. I feel guilty, guys.
You should feel good.
Well, some of it's a
Cost of-
necessary thing that we
It's a cost
need to
of
take
doing
care of it,
operations.
so.
Yeah, this is long-term planning.
Yes, parking lots need to be replaced. They do wear out,
I should have been done 10 years ago, probably.
so.
But, you know,
Okay.
a little side note of that. Parking lot being so level. Is somebody filled me in from the past and said when they built the original extension building. they didn't want to spend the expense of having another 1.5 foot fill put in.
Well,
That we're paying for. it.
save a little now, pay a little later. Okay, we're up to item 14. Action to approve the auditor's account with treasurer and note monthly registered of deeds fees.
All right, so you have the auditor's account with the county treasurer for the last business day of April in 2024. Down the bottom, you have your general ledger cash balances, your general, your restricted, special revenue, and then the custodial funds going to the schools, townships, cities, and towns. Total of 49,122,140.44. And then the April register of deeds fees that she collected was $45,470.05.
Van Duzen, move to approve.
A motion by Van Duzen,
Second,
second by Gable. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 15, action to authorize chair to sign an MOU with Glacial Lakes Human Society.
Humane.
Humane Society.
Morning.
Morning.
I just kind of did a little MOU just to kind of keep everything fair and square, I guess, back and forth between the Humane Society and the county. I know you guys donate a little bit of money to them each year. And in order to make sure that we keep getting our services at the county that we do, I just figured we'd draft up something quick, and their board has signed it. I've signed it. And since you guys are the money, I figured I'd have you guys involved as well.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen,
second,
second by Waterman. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
It's cats, right?
What's that?
Lots of cats.
Cats and dogs.
Okay, item 16, discussion, possible action to enact burn ban resolution. I would say we're probably in pretty good shape with the rain.
Pretty well a mute point this morning.
Okay, item 17, action to approve annual malt beverage license application renewals.
And Brad did step out, but I did check with him and we have no issues with any of these establishments in Codington County that have applied for the 24-25 on-off sale malt beverage license renewals. And those businesses are David Bluedorn doing business as the Rooster Bar, W.J. Schmidt Enterprise Incorporated doing business as South Fork Lounge, Sisseton Wapaton Sioux Tribe doing business as Dakota Sioux Casino, and Joy Nelson doing business as Joy Ranch of South Dakota.
Move to approve.
Okay, motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Van Duzen. Any more discussion?
Just one thing, Mr. Chair, I'm glad to hear that we don't have any issues with those. We do watch those pretty close for violations, and so keep checking IDs, please. Appreciate it.
Thank you. If no more discussion, all those in favor say aye.
aye,
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 18, discussion possible action to appoint additional members to the Codington County Justice Advisory Committee.
yeah, Mr. Chair, I think that's mine, I can.
Yep, go
explain that
ahead.
one. So
Commissioner.
we have one of our voting members has asked to step off because it just doesn't work with the schedule to be involved. And so I asked Stacy Hendricks if she'd be willing to do that. If you know Stacy, she's the head of the Brothers and Sisters Behind Bars. She did come with us on our jail visits to Brookings County Jail, and Minnehaha County jails. And so I think she'd be a really good addition. Particularly with the perspective of all the justice alternatives and the reentry issues, the need for, programming space like for AA meetings and Bible studies. And, that's something that our jail can't offer, but she can offer some really good perspective, I think. And so I'd make a motion that we appoint Stacy Hendricks as a voting member for the Justice Advisory Committee.
A motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Van Duzen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, item 19, action to approve computer equipment purchases for the Director of Equalization Office.
Correct. You have that information. This is just, she has her computers on a rotation and there's a few of them, it looks like, that needs to be replaced too. And so yes, just looking for approval to get that taken care of.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Johnson. Any more discussion?
I'm presuming this old equipment will be destroyed.
I would assume so unless they can be used somewhere else in the county. She'll, when they install them, then she'll have that on the agenda, whether to
Okay.
destroy or what she will do with that.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 20, action to authorize the Lutheran Church of Our Redeemer to conduct Sunday worship services at Memorial Park.
Right.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion by Johnson, second by Waterman. Any further discussion?
We've been doing this in conjunction with the church for many, many years. So it's nothing new or different.
Right. And they do pay a $500 stipend basically for use of it for the summer months. So
Wow. Any more questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, item 21, action to authorize chair to sign the early learning partnership MOU.
Yes.
Okay,
Good
go
morning.
ahead. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning. Thank you. Okay, so we've actually had this discussion previously, but the contract needed to be rewritten a little bit. This is the partner that we as a community, or the memorandum of understanding that we as a community are committed to early learning initiative to promoting a healthy early learning environment for children. It's a three-way partnership between the city, the county, and the school district. And so the county would be one of the signatories in this. The city's already approved it, and the school district it has agreed to the partnership. Once we sign it here, I'll take it over to them. So
I'll move to approve the chair signing this.
Okay, motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Van Duzen. Any more discussion?
Hey, Mr. Chair, just, Sarah, has the state's attorney had a chance to take a look at it?
yes, she did. Yep, she's looked at it and approved everything. And so did the city attorney.
Oh, good. Seeing no more questions, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Um,
Okay, item 22, action to authorize chair to sign consulting contract with Collective Impact Support using Beyond Idea grant funds.
okay, and so this is a technicality because we're signing it as a county, but it won't be using any county funds. This is using the funding that was allocated through the Beyond Idea grant that I received from the South Dakota Community Foundation. It's a contract with the Collective Impact National Program. And so it's a consultant that works with the National Collective Impact Program to help us establish our programming here in Watertown
All $15,000, it looks like, will be
through the grant.
through the grant.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Van Duzen,
Second it.
second by Johnson.
I did have the state's attorney review this one also. There was a couple changes from what you have, really minor, adding the chairman's name to the signature line and changing the state that it would be in to South Dakota versus Massachusetts. Their company is located in Massachusetts, but the state's attorney wanted it changed to South Dakota, and they agreed to that. So those are the
Oh,
changes.
okay.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
thanks,
Sarah.
thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, the new one. Okay.
Okay. Item 23, action to approve. Is there any abatement?
No abatements. We do have some claims, so.
Okay, item 24, action to approve claims for payment.
All right, first of all, we'll get two separate motions for this. It is the April salaries. The total amount was in what, 736,635.06. And that was for the salaries for the month of April.
Motion to approve.
Approved.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the
Okay.
next one.
Right, we can do these all in one motion, but I am going to separate out the fact that we are also paying the state of South Dakota. It's all pass-through dollars from motor V, registered deeds fees to Redfield and those sorts of items that next week would cut it too close to the deadline since we send it ACH and I didn't want it to be late. So that total amount that we will be paying to the state of South Dakota is $739,251.69. So that's pass through. So then the other two that are actual claims for the county is our EMC insurance, which is our property and liability insurance on that. And that is a total of $136,323. And we had one other claim that we had to get cleared up. It was a visa that actually was closed out, but for whatever reason, in the amount of $104.62. So the actual amount for the county is $136,427.62.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Waterman. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I do have an automatic budget supplement. So a few weeks back, you guys did approve the JJRI funds to go to the Boys and Girls Club. And so we are going to get that taken care of. But I first need to have you do an automatic budget supplement. It came in last year, so it went into our general fund revenues. So we'll pull it out of there and put it into Becky's budget so that doesn't upset that process. And that is in the amount of $82,750. We will put into the state's attorney budget so that we can cover those JJRI funds, which actually came from the South Dakota Department of Corrections.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Van Duzen. Any more discussion?
And you'll see that one in the claims next week for the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 26, action to approve personnel changes.
We have one, Connor Anderson, effective date 5/15. Well, actually, I think that's a typo. It should be 2024. Corrections officer in the jail. He is going from part-time to full-time. It will be step 1, grade 35, $24.81 an hour.
5/15, just
Yeah,
verifying that. date,
5/15,
so-
2024.
So that
It says
won't take-
2022. I don't know why.
That won't take effect until the 15th.
Yeah, yeah. We usually don't start individuals. It's either like the first of the month or the middle of the month with
Okay.
salaries and
Okay.
benefits.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen,
Second.
second by Gable. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I might just add, he is a current employee. He's just moving from part-time to full-time. Yep.
Okay, item 27, action to approve travel requests.
Yes, you have a few of those in your packet. Director of Equalization Office attending a conference. There's several individuals, community services. They will be attending the CHW conference also. And that should take care of all of them.
Move to approve.
Motion by Gable,
I'll second it.
second by Johnson to approve the travel request. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 28, public notice, possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance at. Just trying to,
Isn't there another candidate forum tonight?
oh, there is.
It's on this, on District 5 House and Senate races
Tonight.
tonight at 6 o'clock at the Goss.
It's at 6 o'clock.
Correct.
Lake Area Tech graduation is on Friday. Just a reminder.
I think I heard a number 870 some.
Well,
I don't know if that's true or exact, right? But I think I heard something like that.
my daughter is one of those, so I'm pretty proud of her. Whoop whoop.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They said if you don't have someone in your family graduating and you have your tickets already, it's probably not a chance to get in.
Too late, yeah.
Too late, yeah.
I don't think there's anything else that's brought to our attention. Item 29, is there any old business?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just give folks an update if
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner
yeah,
Gable.
so we took a trip to Chair Schwer came along with some members of the CCGAC, the sheriff, Matt, Steve came along to take a look at Brookings County and Minnehaha County jails, got some really good insight into some, much newer facilities than ours. Some problems with some of those with, some facilities, just looking at the good and the bad in both places. And so it gave some really good insight. After that, we did a meeting with the architect at their offices in Sioux Falls to go over some of the program. So the program is basically the definition of the rooms and the square footages that go with each room. So there's still a few things we still need to discuss, but that's an ongoing process. That looks like we're more or less on schedule for the pre-design part. The thing that we have to focus on is if we are going to put it on the ballot in November, sometime mid to late July, we're going to need to think about that ballot language so that we can get it to the Secretary of State. And I think it's the first Tuesday in August, if I'm not mistaken. But in that time frame, so that's kind of what we're shooting at. Also, I did mention last week we do have that draft jail population report projections from Mr. Garnos. So, hopefully, fellow commissioners, CCJC have had a chance to at least be looking at that draft. So I think I'll probably be posting that on the website if the public wants to take a look at it. And I showed a little bit of it last week. Thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner Gable. Item 30, is there any new business? Seeing none, we'll move to the open now. Now is the time for public comment. If you'd like to comment, you can come up, state your name and tell us what you'd like to comment.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Is that green light on?
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe it is.
Yep.
My name is Doug Allen, and by way of background a little bit, born and raised in Watertown. My father has lived here his entire life, and recently moved back 2 years ago, built a home at the very backside of Dakota Commons on Lewis and Clark Trail, probably the newest little spit of road in the city. I've had a conversation with Commissioner Schwer about some of my concerns relative to Third Avenue and 31st. I was there last night when the 31st was brought up. And I've appeared twice now before the city council and expressed my concerns back in 2023, kind of early 2023. And it concerned the amount of truck traffic that was using Third Avenue as well as 31st. And as I explained to Commissioner Schwer, a lot of this is sort of new for me, so I'm not sure that I'm always spot on with the information that I have or not. But my concerns remain with regard to Third Avenue. And part of this I shared with the city council as well, but when they annexed a portion of that property directly to the east of me, that's J&J land, the city required J&J to build a section of road there. And in the past, they've done half roads, and they realized that was probably not a smart thing for them to do. But now we have this sort of odd thing that's happened where if you start on 19th and you come up to Doc Larson's place, you have asphalt right up to his place. Then it becomes crushed asphalt that runs down to where Lewis and Clark intersects. And then it's gravel all the way over to 31st. With this new development, there will now be a section of paved road, but it will not go all the way to 31st, and it will not go all the way to Lewis and Clark. It will be a section that sits kind of in the middle of that. So you'll have this bizarre thing where you'll have one section of paved road and then gravel and then crushed asphalt and then, you know, a little spit of asphalt. And I understand, I mean, nobody on the council, and I don't blame them, is really willing to say, you know, oh, we should correct that, because nobody wants to pay for the road. And currently, I think, I don't know if you're farming on the north side of.
South side.
South side, okay, so I'm not sure who is farming on the north side. Part of that is Earl Kinsman's property, and part of it is someone else, a trust of some sort, I forget the name. But none of those folks, of course, want to pay for half of a road. And the development that I'm in, Dakota Commons, has deliberately left a strip of land there that they're not going to develop either, because as soon as they do, then they're going to be required to probably pay for half of that road. And my concern is that we have two really major gravel operations that exist on 31st. J&J Land just opened up a huge gravel operation to the north, and then you have Dunnick's and their wash station and so forth down there. So that's a lot of heavy equipment, big trucks, side dumpers, dual side dumpers, loads of concrete. I have no idea how heavy those trucks are, but I can't imagine. I mean, you were asking, is there some other solution? Well, I don't know that there is, but from my perspective, I'd like to see traffic stay on 31st and not come on to Third Avenue. You know, partly because you've got really heavy trucks on roads that are not designed for them. And so that's going to tear it up. And despite the city's best effort to control speed along there and to make that crushed asphalt as smooth as it can be made, very rough. There's potholes and people fly by there well in advance of the 35-mile-an-hour posted speed limit, which right now, not too big an issue, but believe me, when things dry out, there's a huge amount of dust that washes over us. And I think the city is doing okay in trying to keep the dust down when they can and so forth. But my concern centers on the fact that right now there's no rule or regulation that says those trucks can't just hop onto Third Avenue and rumble right on down there into the city. And I don't know that forcing it to go to 212 is the right answer or not, but 212 is certainly at least engineered to handle truckloads that those trucks have. But again, you know, there's stuff you have to do in town. I understand that, you know, when they built the new stadium at the high school, there was a huge amount of old concrete and other things. If you look at the pile of waste concrete that exists now on that J&J property on that corner, it's a gigantic stack of waste concrete. All that's been trucked in. And, you know, I guess I feel like, you know, not only is it a safety issue on 31st, and I understand that I'm not sure when the concrete barriers will go up, but I know that will turn it into a one-lane road.
Well,
And I think, you know, you've got, those trucks are so big. I mean, they can, you can't really get two vehicles passed together right now. I mean, you just can't do it. It's too narrow. And I appreciate what you had to say the other night, Commissioner Waterman, about the fact that it might be 5 or 6 years before anything changes. I mean, we'll get the concrete barriers up, but then it might be 5 or 6 years before anything else can be done. I think that's too long a time, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure what you can do about that, whether it's you know, whether we need better coordination with the city and so forth. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But my concerns, in addition to the safety, is just about the pounding that those roads take. And right now, you know, there's nothing to prevent them turning onto Third Avenue and coming into the city that way. And sometimes I realize if you go to 212, you know, you at least have the option of going around the city on the bypass. Whether they do that or not, I think probably depends on where they're going with the trucks and what they're doing with them. But it's a lot of pounding on roads. And I think you commissioners are probably well aware of, you know, what's happened to most of our county roads, given the fact that we now have semi loads of corn going everywhere to, you know, every ethanol plant. And it's a pounding that the roads are not, you know, they weren't engineered to take that. And I think that's causing a lot of additional infrastructure costs for us. So that's what I wanted to comment on. And if you guys can clarify anything for me, I'd really appreciate that. If you have any additional ideas or comments, I'd really be interested in hearing what you have to say.
Well, a little add on to what I was talking about last night. It's not the city or the county that sets the time frame for a bridge. It's the state and the funding and the urgency of how bad a bridge is before it can be put, before it's scheduled.
Yeah, is there a definition of what a bridge?
yeah.
So, you know, in this case, it's just culverts. And does that make it a bridge or not a bridge?
It makes it a bridge if it's over so much in length, total length, and over so much in height.
Okay.
And that was some of the discussion that we've been having over the last several weeks about who's actually responsible for the replacement of that structure. Obviously, it was a big priority for us in the county because of the safety issue. And so that's why the concrete barriers are being placed. And our highway superintendent, as you know, you probably followed that story about the width. We're still going to be able to get truck traffic through there. That was a big concern. And so even with the barriers placed there, we'll be able to do that. So I understand, I think 31st Street is, as I understand it, is a township road, that section. And so that's part of the issue. It's not a county road, it's a township road. And so I'm not sure where Third Avenue, where the city limits stop there on Third Avenue and where the township picks up on that, or we'd have to research that to figure out who actually controls that stretch. But I understand it's very washboardish. It's not a good road. And But there's also not revenue coming in to pay for paving of that road. So maybe that's something we need to look at, but
And waiting for the, and I'm sure Commissioner Van Duzen will agree with this. The township don't have the money to fix that road and don't, so I would be surprised if they would do anything about it.
yeah.
Yeah, it just seems, you know, and I expressed this to the city, it's frustrating for me that you make a decision that, okay, we're gonna annex this development into the city when clearly the infrastructure does not exist. And they're busy doing waivers for J&J to, oh yeah, we'll pay for part of the sewer and the water and the, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I look at that area every day now. And it's ponded up with water right now because of the recent rains, and they've got a long way to go before I'd have any interest in building a house in there. Now, maybe they've got some ideas about who's gonna be putting up structures there. I have no idea. But you know, when I look at all the available land that exists in and around Watertown for housing, I see an awful lot of possibilities that didn't really warrant the city saying, yeah, let's annex this. I just, and I feel like they should bear some responsibility for making a decision to do that, knowing that the road was not, that they weren't going to be able to fund the road. And you know, it's just frustrating. And plus, even if they did put the road in right now, there's so much heavy truck traffic there that I don't think it would stand up very long, you know, to be honest with you. I think that's going to be an option. So I won't take any more of your time. I appreciate your time and
We
listening.
appreciate you sharing
Yep.
with us.
Yeah. Mr. Allen, can I have you write down your phone number on there? I'd like to give you a call to
Sure.
discuss this a little further. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so
I'll be in
much.
touch with you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you
And
for your.
You are Doug, right?
Yep,
What's
Doug
that?
You
Allen.
are Doug.
I am Doug.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I am Doug.
All right, well, thanks for sharing. Okay, is there any more public comment or? Is there any commissioner comments?
Oh, we have a couple of things here that were on our desk. Brenda,
Yeah, so that brunch, I guess I sent that out. That's put on by Sanford. If any of you are available, let me know. And then, yes, the new downtown rates. You have that memo. Let Jody know if there's any changes.
okay, thank you.
Okay, have not seen anything for an executive session.
Move to adjourn.
Motion
Second.
by Johnson, second by Gable. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Commissioner Gable. Good day. Oh, you're not, I didn't know if you're heading back to the.
Well, if you need it, that's for the fire alarm system and stuff.
Now that. I need to drive out there again, but where is she building? On the north side of the road?
What?
Where, you know, it's not about that. You know, that the city annexed. Okay, you go to by Doc Larson's place.
Yep,
You're heading east.
yep.
Okay, and I know it's paved up to his place and then it's gravel.
Then it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah. Okay, how far east is this development?
I think it starts at the half-mile line there.
The half a mile line.
Yeah, because they've got to push streets through and
Right.
stuff.
Rick's
In there.
about when those.
Now, is that on the south side? or-
South side.
South, okay, yeah.
You just drive the loop there and you'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, shut.
Yeah.
Are we on?
So I'm curious about where that, and I can see that, and see where that.